Hello and welcome everyone, a new episode of Score Sheet. I promised that this is going to be a very special, rich episode, as we do have a very special guest, and he is a master of a very different, I should say, just different game or sport, as we are going to go or to dive into its details and what about this sport here in Egypt. If anyone can answer all our questions regarding that sport here in Egypt, it's going to be him. But before that, let me say congratulations to many Egyptians who booked their tickets to Paris 2024. I didn't know that this Yumna Ayad, the boxing giant, despite the fact that she is only 50 kilograms or something like that. When it comes to Abdurrahman Arabi or Omar, it's normal. They were there before and they are that strong. But Yumna, congratulations, you really did great. And guess what? In Lithuania, even as we speak, our modern pentathlon athletes are doing great, and in all age categories. We are going to dedicate very special episodes to all our athletes who qualified to Paris 2024, not only to say congratulations, but to say that our media is going to follow your steps minute by minute. And believe it or no, all the exhausting hours, days, months of training, they are going to be totally forgotten when you see the Egyptian flag rising and you listen to our national anthem. It started with Azmi Mhalba in shooting, moving to the Gindis of the modern pentathlon. Now we do have Hana Gouda, Mariam El Hudaybi, Omar Asar in table tennis. And by the way, Hana Gouda just claimed a few minutes ago her third continental title in just a few weeks. I don't know how I'm going to mention all the names. Of course, I'm going to forget some, but this is only a start and a promise from all of us that we are going to mention all the names in special episodes as we are going closer to 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Now, it's time to the lion's share of this episode, to the core of our night today, golf. Do we have golfers in Egypt? The answer is yes. Do we have a national team participating in Arab, African, and international competitions? The answer is yes. Do we have very promising talents? The answer is yes. Golf is getting more popular. We are going to know. But first, let's start with listening to our Egyptian golfers and how they are that much connected to their head coach, to Richard. Who is Richard? Richard is our guest today. Right after this, we are going to be back to know the details and who is Richard Micamore. Egypt International Golf Competition was held with the participation of 13 countries: Switzerland, Italy, Austria, Saudi Arabia, Morocco, Jordan, Lebanon, Libya, Iraq, South Africa, Kenya, Malawi, in addition to Egypt, the host country. Players: عيسى أبو العلا, ماجد عبد التواب, عبد المنعم الشافعي, شريف رزق, عمرو ناجي, Ahmed Naim, and Ahmed Afifi participated in the tournament representing Egypt.
We're here at the Egyptian Amateur Open. It's a great tournament that I've won before, and I've had lots of family members win. And it's great to see that we have a lot more competition. So there's a bunch of South Africans that have come and some people from Switzerland. And it's a great way to show tourism in Egypt, as well as the level of golf that they can see in the future from us. So this year I played on the European Tour and I qualified for Saudi International. I've played some of the biggest tournaments in the world in Asia and in Europe. And I just won the Pan Arab Championship, so it's a great achievement, and It's the first time someone's won the Pan Arab since 2018. So I've had a good year, and I'm hoping to keep going from here.
The Egyptian Golf Federation was keen to involve a group of emerging talented players such as Mohammed Adib, Ali Salama, Adam Rizk, and others in order to give them more experience and the opportunity to exchange their expertise with other international golfers.
I started when I was 2 years old in Algeria. There was a coach. I tried it once. I tried playing with him once. And then he took me and he started coaching me. And ever since then I started. I got second tied in the Pan Arab. And I got second in the Egyptian Junior Open. And I've played outside.
This championship is the Egyptian Amateur Open. And of course, we, as juniors, we have more of a rough time than the other players, because we are younger, of course. But it's a big championship, of course, and it means something when for me or any of the juniors playing it. It really shows that golf in Egypt is going somewhere, and it does bring me joy to know that.
Hello, my name is Richard Michaelmore. I'm from Cape Town, South Africa, and it's a pleasure to be here in Egypt at the Egyptian Open. It's absolutely wonderful, and I'm over here developing golf and especially encouraging new players and developing the juniors and especially the very young to get into golf. So it's fantastic to be here in Egypt, and I look forward to a wonderful championship here at Al Gouna, and it's going extremely well. The Egyptian team, in terms of the juniors, is developing nicely. I've been working very hard with the junior players, as it's a process to improve in golf. But we've got some really good established national team players like Issa Abalela and Dean Naim. So we just came second in the Moroccan All Arab Championship 2 months ago in Morocco. So obviously it's a progression, as we can just go step by step.
If you see his smile when he was listening to his golfers, you would know the bond among them. We are very much delighted and honored to have with us live here in the studio my dear guest, Richard Michaelmore, the national coach or the head coach of our national team of golf. Richard, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be in Egypt, and thank you for the Ministry of Sport for bringing me here, and it's wonderful to go places with Egypt.
Thank you. You are most welcome, of course, and you are all the time invited to visit all, not only touristic destinations in Egypt, but all provinces. But because under every stone you are going to find something related to an old civilization. Richard, of course, we are going to come to your mission here, golf in Egypt and all stuff like that. But before going into these details, let's know more about you as a golfer. And since when you discovered that golf is your passion and that you are going to continue your life in this domain?
Well, coming from South Africa, South Africa has had a long history in golf. We've had tremendous development in golf. And that's what really drives golf as well. So I come from a golfing family. My father played, and I just fell in love with the game of golf, and it was a natural progression for me when you
genetic.
Yeah, it's something like it. Absolutely. And when you love something, you put in your time and your effort. And I went to college in the United States and played Division I golf there. And then I turned professional for a few years, played on the Sunshine Tour back in South Africa. And then
I got into another passion of teaching golf, and really that's what's driven me forward from there.
This is it. There is always a turning point, which when you go through, you tell yourself, this is my passion, this is my way of life, this is where I belong. When did that happen?
Well, especially from, I just think it's from a very young age.
Oh.
You know, it's just something, you know, when you love golf and you really want to be a professional and you want to be with the world's best, it's a game that can really take you places. And so I think I've always been in love with golf.
So far from your dad, who was your role model?
I would definitely say Gary Player in South Africa. He's the legend of golf that comes from South Africa and in world golf. And I think all young South Africans are aware of Gary Player and want to emulate him.
You know why, Richard, I'm asking these questions before going into the details of golf in Egypt and of your impression regarding the changes or the developments in the golf arena here. Because it's very normal to find a child, a boy, saying that he want to be a footballer, he want to be another Maradona or Pelé, he want to be another Boris Becker, I mean our generation.
Yeah.
In tennis, or he want to be another LeBron James in NBA, for example. But to say that I'm going to be a golfer, this is a golf state of mind, if I can call it this way.
Yes.
And this means that you understood the game in a way that it became part and parcel of your psychology. And because of that, you do have the eyes. You are a scouter. And you know well, with even the way a child or a kid is holding the club, if he is going only to be an amateur, or he is going, or she, of course, is going to be a pro. True?
Absolutely. And that's where it comes down to the culture of golf. As a country develops a culture of golf and has heroes that come through, that's what really pulls in the youth into the game and brings the energy into the game. So, for example, in soccer, with Egypt's success in football, that's why you have this tremendous, vision for soccer.
The sky's the limit.
Yes, the sky's the limit, and that takes time to create, and that's the goal with golf in Egypt, is to start creating that kind of a culture that really gets people to understand that golf is a game of a lifetime.
This is what I wanted to explore with you, because unfortunately and until the moment, so many people would think that golf is only for those businessmen who just walk for such long distances to sign a deal and that's it. But to have golf as an Olympic game and to have its role models, its very heavyweight countries and names, if I want to ask you to describe golf as a sport, what you're going to say?
Well, golf is the royal and ancient game. It comes from ancient Scotland, and it's got that tradition and history. And really, the one thing that sets golf apart is that it's all about developing character. And this is what I really want people to understand, is that golf is about developing character. It's a game that brings out and teaches you self-respect, playing by the rules, discipline. It's a game where you actually aren't competing against other people. You're actually competing against yourself all the time. It's you and the ball, and then you make a score. And so that's what makes golf unique. It's an absolute chess match with yourself.
We are going to implement that on the ground, speaking about your experience here in Egypt and dealing with the Egyptian golfers. For how many years have you been here?
No, I'm fairly new. I've only been here for 8 months, and I've assimilated nicely. I've seen the immense potential in Egypt and all these fantastic golf courses that have been created, and this is really driving the future potential of golf in Egypt.
And what about the age average of our golfers?
Sorry, the age?
Age average.
Well, you know what, it's mostly businessmen and...
No, I mean our national team.
Yeah, the national team. Young. We've got it's mostly under 18. So we are really focusing at the moment, especially on the young.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I'm also asking this because I want to know, in your opinion, what's the most suitable age to start as a golfer? I mean, if I do have a kid who is that interested in that and he want to practice, when he or she will start, should start?
Well, from a young age, definitely under 10 years old. You know,
Under 10?
Yes, and if you know, if they can play with a golf club and just, you know, it's very similar to tennis, which is also an individual game. You know, it's a skills game, and so it's very, very good for the young development of eye-hand coordination. And then you see potential, and if they love it, they will latch onto golf.
Let me have your impression when you met with our golfers in the very first, let's say, not weeks, but even month. After 1 month, what was your evaluation?
There is definitely excellent talent in Egyptian golf, and especially in our juniors. I think that there is so much potential if we could get more and more talent attracted to golf. And so just like other sports that have done extremely well in Egypt, you know, it's a little bit of a competition for that young talent. And there's such incredible clubs here that, you know, like, for example, Jazeera and Alex Sporting Club, absolute nurturing grounds for golf.
What the most important characteristic of a good golfer? Because as we were mentioning, and we're going to continue with that, a golfer's character is different. And I feel, as we were speaking before, it's a kind of meditation.
Yes.
To compete against yourself and to imagine where the ball will go. And to have this kind of visual survey of the field. And when you have this in mind, when you have the map of holes in your mind, you are mastering all of this, then you can be a pro or a really good golfer. Would you please correct me if I'm wrong?
That is absolutely correct. You know, golf, for example, is all about a self-reflection of yourself, and that makes it a great teacher. So it's all about developing that ability to stay in the present. It's a very mental game. So you have to be able to control your control your mindset, control your reaction to adversity. It's, you know, what happens when that ball goes in the water? How do you take it? Everybody hits bad shots, but can you bring yourself back to the present? And that's what makes golf a very, very unique game, because you can't get angry. You have to get calm.
Yeah, I mean, anger management, you mean?
Yes, exactly.
Or self-control?
Yes.
Or what? No, you
Yes.
say it.
No, but all of the above, self-control. That's why in golf, a very big field is actually sports psychology, golf psychology, and getting yourself to manage yourself correctly, and your thoughts and your reactions, your routine. It brings in a very similar to a sport like archery. So keeping yourself focused on the target. And
I think all,
yeah.
archery, javelin,
Yeah.
I mean every,
Yeah.
all individual games, let me put it this
Yes.
way. But how I can develop that in a 10-year-old kid? How much time should it take? And you know, sometimes, or athletes, when I try to have this kind of comparison between hard work or talent, they all said hard work. Talent is great, but without talent,
Yes.
without hard work, a talent can just fade away. Yeah, I mean, more quickly than you can ever imagine. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely agree with that, especially in golf, actually, because you don't have to have a certain body type, or everybody can play golf and develop their own level. So which also makes it unique. So you can, for example, if you've heard, putting is an extremely important part of golf. That is a very much a sport that a part of the game that needs a lot of practice. So and mental. So it's a constant development process that goes on for years as you get better and better at golf.
Richard, I want to ask you about something. I don't know if it is far from our topic or no, but something I heard or I read, I don't remember. Sports can treat autism and people with autistic syndromes and with the mental fatigue. Let's put it this way. Is it normal to find that after practicing sports, your mental health is better? You can be treated, of course, in addition to the medical service, of course, and the medical treatment with sports and particularly golf?
There's no doubt about that. Absolutely. And once again, I'll say especially golf because it gets you out into nature as well. And it's a game that takes, notably, it does take time to play. And so especially in terms of getting someone to help the healing process, for sure.
What's different about the Egyptian player?
Well, very passionate golfers and very good. What I see is superb talent levels. We just need to get it focused, and like you say, hard work plus the talent is the key.
Passionate can be a double-sided weapon.
Yes, exactly.
How you can get the positive side of the coin?
Now that's the secret, absolutely, to harness that passion without working against yourself. And I'll just if I may say, like for example, it's known that the Spanish players are very passionate, but that is something that can unwind them as well. So if they can get
all the Met countries, by the way, we are all hot-blooded. Yes.
And golf can be frustrating, we know.
Of course, but all competitions can be frustrating, by the way. It's not only golf. And particularly, as we also were speaking before, Mother Nature can play a role with the wind, with the current, with rain, with stuff like that. And we have nothing to do with that. I mean, it's out of our hands.
Yes.
How we can manage.
Yes.
This is something we learn. I mean, this is something, it's inborn or something we can learn.
It's definitely something we can learn because you can definitely work on your mindset and reactions to any situation. And I definitely think that it is a case of focusing yourself and getting yourself to imagine and see yourself in those positions. So it's all about that control that needs to be developed over time, and everybody goes through their ups and downs.
Sure. Is golf getting more popular in Egypt, Richard?
Definitely. There's
How?
Well, especially with such incredible facilities that have been built in Egypt. I mean, I know that it's fantastic for tourism, and it's fantastic with all these wonderful developments that are happening in Egypt. But I think that golf in Egypt has got a huge future, and especially since that if we can draw the imagination of the Egyptian people.
What was your first impression when you see the courses here? I mean, have you imagined that this is what you're going to see here in Egypt?
Never ever. I was absolutely blown away.
Oh,
absolutely
great.
Blown away. And obviously these kind of golf courses are multi-million-dollar complexes, and which means that you would think that access to play golf is only for the wealthy.
And this was going to be my coming question, because when it comes to golf, and maybe, by the way, to all racket games, golf, squash, but golf more, you would say that it's only for, as the French are saying, la crème de la crème. But you're saying that it's getting more popular, and now this notion, we want to change. It's not only for the wealthy people. Let me know more about that.
Absolutely. It's extremely important for the Ministry of Sport in Egypt and the Egyptian Golf Federation to really develop golf, and you know, you've got to have golf courses that are thriving. So we're desperate to have more and more people try golf, and especially develop it up from the young. So it's all about developing that culture, which takes time. But if we can open up golf, it'll be fantastic here in Egypt. And you know, I think that needs to change. You know, it needs to be a lot more accessible, especially for the young, to play golf.
And I think that these efforts are already exerted, or already this plan started by the Egyptian Federation of Golf.
Yes.
And most important, not to focus only on Cairo and Alexandria, for example, but to scatter scouters all over Egypt, because of course
Absolutely.
there are talents in Delta, in Upper Egypt, in the Suez Canal,
Exactly.
provinces, you name it. True?
Yes, absolutely. And golf, there's so much, especially recently, there's so much, let's say, energy in golf, especially with what's happening with the Arab world and their influence coming into golf. It's absolutely
And
incredible.
how do you see also the importance of having such competitions or tournament being held here in Egypt with the participation of many countries?
Yes.
I mean, and many countries here are internationally, whether Europe, Africa. I read that a golfer from Kenya, he's very famous, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. And when he was also speaking about the courses here, he was very much astonished.
Yes.
And he said that he prefers to play in Egypt.
I can totally agree with him because this kind of development that's been created in Egypt has put Egypt in a very special position to grow the game, and even the Royal and Ancient from Scotland is looking very much at Egypt as a growth point in Africa. So and as you know, that comes with a lot of international relations as well.
And interaction, if
Yes.
I may call it this way. This is my question. How do you see the importance of participating in such competitions, with our golfers, to play against those players and to be that much acquainted with their style, with their way of dealing with the whole issue? Because for us, let's confess it, it's brand new.
Yes, absolutely. It's extremely important, and this interaction with all the other countries in the region that's happening. See, golf is a vehicle to really bring people together, and and I think this is why Saudi Arabia has really gotten into the golf world, because it really is an amazing vehicle to uplift, and so it's this whole interaction with all the countries of Africa, which is going to really create that working together.
What does golf need to be more popular in our continent and in Egypt in specific? Is it more propaganda, social media, getting acquainted with the courses we have, inviting children just to try, and if there's someone who showed his talent or her talent, then he is going to be included into our national teams according to his or her age category? What?
Yes, well, it's definitely to do with that introduction to golf, and we're right at the beginning of developing this golf culture, and just like you said, if we can promote and show golf to the youngsters, and show that this is a sport for life. So very much in golf, you can play other sports, but you can play other sports, but golf is a game for life, and it's a game that you'll play your entire life. And
then you encourage people to play golf, whatever their age is, a man or a woman, whether an amateur or you have some ambition to be a pro.
Yes.
Every kind or every type is accepted.
Absolutely.
Who is a fan of Gareth Bale? Gareth Bale. He did something which I found a little bit strange, but when I spoke with Richard, he said, no, this is the passion of golf. This is something which we are going to discover right after this. Stay tuned. Egypt International Men's Golf Championship was held in El Gouna with the participation of players from 13 countries. The third and final round of the tournament witnessed the announcement and the crowning of a new name in the prestigious competition's history. The Swiss player Mark Steinhauser, who shot 212 shots, scoring 4 shots above par.
In Switzerland, there's not many tournaments left, and we're just trying to get down here and play as many tournaments as possible. And you guys have great weather down here, and we try to play as much as we can. And obviously, El Guna playing on Alps Tour and Pro Golf Tour. We heard of that and thought we'll come down here to play.
As he said, we haven't got a lot of tournament left, and we came down yesterday, so 2 days before the tournament, and we did some preparations on the practice area yesterday and came to the course today. But I think we need to save a lot of energy because it's pretty hot, and also for us, we're not used to that. So save a lot of energy, drink a lot, and that's what we do, and get to know the course. That's very important, yeah.
The Moroccan player Sinan Mahli came in second with 2-stroke difference. The third to fifth positions, respectively, were occupied by South African duo Keegan Cosby and John-Ray Ludek, then the Swiss Jean Leon, each of whom scored 1 strike under par.
I'm from Morocco and I'm very happy to be here to represent our country. And the goal of this championship is to win and to play the better what I can. So thank you to the golf and the competition in Egypt, and that's it.
I'm Abdurrahman Fakori, I'm from Morocco. I represent my country here in Egyptian International. I would like to win this tournament for going to Live Golf, and I think I can win this tournament.
So we got invited here to play, a couple of me and my mates from South Africa. Yeah, we flew in yesterday, playing our first practice round today, getting to experience the course, and it's real nice.
I'm John-Ray Ludek and I'm from South Africa, Eastern Cape. Yeah, it was fun out there. Struggled a bit on the back nine, just finished badly, but otherwise it was a strong finish.
I think the golf course is set up in a very good way. The greens look very fast. There's a bit of wind around, which means it's going to be slightly challenging. Hit some low shots, hit some high shots. But I think it's going to be a lot to do with the short game out here, the chipping and the putting. So it should be a good week.
I think it was a good week, and everyone is going to be an ambassador for Egypt, speaking about the lovely days he spent here in our beloved countries. Richard, Gareth Bale, when I knew what he has done, it was the very first time for me to know how much he is in love with golf. But how do you see what he has done?
Well, it's a wonderful thing. You know, he's obviously at the end of his football career.
As a footballer.
Absolutely, and you know, to bring that acclaim to put the spotlight on golf is wonderful, because everybody can then see, wow, this is something that he's going to continue with onwards. So it's also a way of him giving back, and obviously golf has also been a passion for him in the background. So
this is sending a lot of messages. I can start golf, whatever my age is.
Yes.
It's a lifetime sport. You continue.
Yes, absolutely, and that's the thing, is it's never too late to start golf.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they're professional. We've got professional coaches all over Egypt as well that are dedicated to start you from with the basics. And it's really a game that you can really enjoy later on in life as well. And
I mean,
it's
were you
fantastic.
happy with that?
Yes. What?
Were you happy with what Gareth Bale did? I mean,
Yes.
Was it expected?
No, not really.
I mean, was it surprising for you?
No, not at all, because even somebody like Michael Jordan, he is absolutely obsessed with golf, especially after basketball.
Yeah.
So it's you know, the celebrities really do get into golf big time.
Great. Well, if you permit me, I'd like to return back to Egypt and to your stay here and to what you're doing, because enjoying this bond with your players is very important. And
Yes.
as you said, the psychological side of golf is very important. How have you developed that, or how are you developing that?
Well, you know, obviously there's the physical aspects of golf, which is obviously the technique and swing and, you know, short game and putting. But also, you know, in golf as well, to play at a higher level, you have to actually learn through experience, you know, correct strategy, good course management, these mental aspects that I've been telling you about that are so important, because golf really ends up between the ears. So you can work on your technique, but
I'm going to give you some examples.
Yes.
Now, I think this generation is very lucky. You can at any time just on YouTube watch golfers, how they are playing, to watch competitions worldwide. The Irish competition was taking place only a few days ago with Rory McIlroy and
Yes.
the other wonderful men there. In addition to other competitions which are going to take place, because there's a very busy schedule.
Yes.
Do you, the piece of advice you are giving to the players, all the time focus on that, or try all the time to watch more and more, or give golf big part, but after that take yourself out of the whole issue to know how to relax and to concentrate? Which is which?
well, it's a balance between both of those, because you can, if you overdo it, then you can get burnt out in golf. So it's a balance between keeping it simple and also letting it happen. So that's the art in golf, is actually not too much, and also find out what works for you. That's the thing as well that I've found, especially in my own life.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much advice, but you also got to work out what is relevant for you and how do you play your best golf, and by trial and error as well.
Another example. Just before starting a competition, everyone has his own rituals. Some prefer to stay alone for a while.
Yes.
Some want to listen to classic music, for
Yes.
example. Some want to just watch the birds, stay connected to the nature, to be part and parcel of it, talk to the club even, stuff like that. In your opinion, how important are these things? And when I can discover that exactly when I do that, I became into, or I enter into a nice psychological state to permit me to compete in a better way.
Well, absolutely, exactly. You know, every golfer has to develop their own best way to get ready to play, and preparation is so important, because you're trying to get yourself into a focused state. And
what was your best way?
My best way was, you know what? When I was on the driving range, warming up, to actually just focus on rhythm and see what was happening in that moment, so that I had confidence to take that onto the golf course. So you've got to see what you have for that day and go with that rhythm that you have for that day. And I found that worked the best for me.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time, and we do have 1 minute. And in this 1 minute, 30 seconds, describe your stay in Egypt with one word. And the other 30 seconds, say something to your golfers. Your camera.
Absolutely incredible. It's the word is exhilarating. I've absolutely loved being here in Egypt, and I'm going to say to all my young golfers, let's stick to it. Step by step, we're going places. And if you haven't tried golf, give it a go. Come and give it a go, and let's just see what we can do with golf.
Give it a go and try golf. And this is the message of tonight's episode. I really enjoyed my time. And Richard, we are going to leave you with a promise to see you again in more episodes.
Thank
Promise?
you. Yes.
We were very much delighted and honored to have with us Richard Macklemore, the coach of our national team of golf. Till we meet again same time on Nile TV International. Many thanks for watching. With all my love, this was Nirmeen Abdurrahman.
Thank you.